Egyptian gods and goddesses were an integral part of ancient life. So much so, in fact, that the Egyptian pantheon is said to have over 2000 deities. Number 1. Ra. Ra, the sun god, was the most important god in ancient Egypt. He was said to be born every morning in the east and die every night in the west, traveling to the underworld at night. If there is one god who has always held a prominent place in the Egyptian pantheon throughout Egypt and Sudan, it is the god Ra, says Alman Savalitero. To some extent, most of the Egyptian gods have a solar aspect, or can even claim to be smaller forms of Ra. For example, the famous lioness goddesses Sekhmet and Tefnut, or even Hatha, are nothing but the eye of Ra. Ra was considered the world's first pharaoh. Legend has it that his golden sun ship flew across the sky every day and then traveled through the underworld, the Duat, at night. In the Duat, he crossed the river of darkness to fight demons. Every morning, Egyptians are said to have celebrated his triumphant return, marking the beginning of a new day. According to Alman Savalitero, Ra dies every night in the western horizon, which is why most Egyptian cemeteries were built on the west bank of the Nile, and then is reborn every morning in the east. She says, therefore, every solar symbol in ancient Egypt, such as the eye of Ra, has a strong regenerative power. Like Osiris, god of the underworld, Ra is a god related to death, but also to rebirth. The rising and setting of the sun represents one of the two main concepts of time in ancient Egypt, cyclic time. Osiris represents eternity, much like a mummy or a pyramid, something that is supernatural and that is permanent, while Ra represents continuity and recurrence. Number 2. Osiris. Osiris was known as the god of rebirth, resurrection, and fertility. He symbolized divine rule and the cycle of death and rebirth. As the husband of Isis and the father of Horus, he plays a central role in myths symbolizing renewal and justice. Osiris was betrayed and cut into pieces by his brother Set, but Isis reunited and resurrected him, making Osiris the ruler of the underworld. His green skin symbolized vegetation and rebirth, and his iconography often includes a staff and a noose, which were symbols of kingship in ancient Egypt. Number 3. Isis. Isis was a central goddess in ancient Egyptian mythology, worshipped as the goddess of magic, motherhood, healing, and protection. She is the wife of Osiris and the mother of Horus, symbolizing devotion and resilience. Known for her magical healing abilities, Isis used her wisdom to revive Osiris after his dismemberment by Set and protected her son Horus during his infancy. She was often depicted with a throne-shaped crown or solar disk and cow's horns, indicating her connection to royalty and cosmic power. Isis was widely worshipped in Egypt and beyond, symbolizing love, fertility, and the eternal cycle of life. Number 4. Horus. Horus was a complex character in the Egyptian world. He is often depicted as a falcon-headed man, but over time he has taken on different forms and meanings. While he was originally considered a god of war and the sky, he later became primarily known as the son of Osiris, the god of the underworld, and Isis, the goddess of healing and magic. His most famous role was probably his role in the myth surrounding Osiris and his brother Set. As legend goes, Set murdered Osiris in a fit of jealousy and then scattered pieces of his body across Egypt. Isis managed to bring her husband back to life and then gave birth to their son Horus. In some versions of the story, Horus was raised to avenge his father's murder and lost his left eye in a battle with Set. However, Thoth magically restored his eye. Horus, sometimes called the Avenger, is said to have defeated Set and assumed the title of pharaoh. All subsequent mortal pharaohs considered themselves his descendants. Number 5. Anubis. Often depicted as a man with a jackal's head, jackals had previously been associated with death. Anubis was the protector of the dead. In addition to guarding tombs, Anubis also weighed the hearts of the dead and was considered the guardian of the scales. According to legend, he weighed the heart of the dead against the weight of a feather, the feather of Maat, which symbolized truth. If the scales tipped toward the heart, Anubis released a demon named Ammit to destroy the diseased person. But if the scales tipped toward the feather, Anubis delivered the person to Osiris, king of the underworld. Osiris then took the person to heaven. Number 6. Maat. Maat, the goddess of cosmic order, truth, and justice, was vital to maintaining balance in the universe. Often depicted with an ostrich feather on her head, she symbolized the principles that held the world together. In the afterlife, Maat's feather played an important role. Anubis weighed it on the deceased's heart to determine his fate. Maat's presence was a constant reminder of the importance of living a balanced and ethical life. Number 7. Seter. Seter, sometimes called Set, was a complex and powerful figure in ancient Egyptian mythology, often associated with chaos, storm, and disorder. Seter was notorious for murdering and dismembering his brother Osiris, symbolizing the forces of destruction and rivalry. Despite his antagonistic role, Set was also the protector of the sun god Ra, and he battled the serpent Apophis to protect cosmic order. His iconography includes a mystical animal with a curved snout and upright ears, known as the Seter animal. Set's dual nature reflects the balance of chaos and order in Egyptian cosmology, making him a multifaceted deity. Number 8. Neith. Neith was the patroness of the city of Sais and, according to some accounts, was considered the creator of the world and the mother of Ra, making her the mother of all gods. On the other hand, she is also said to have been the creator of Are's archenemy, the great serpent, Apap. Neith's importance in modern Egyptology is usually underestimated because her role as a creator and maternal, yet virgin, goddess was replaced by Isis in later times, says Almansavalitero. She is one of the oldest Egyptian goddesses, appearing in the earliest records with the symbol of two tied bows. Neith's distinctive symbol was a pair of crossed arrows shown against the background of a leather shield, and she was also sometimes represented by the image of a bow case, which she was sometimes depicted wearing on her head in place of a crown, when she was not wearing the red crown associated with Lower Egypt and not holding the crossed arrows and bow. For a long time, her symbols were confused with the crossed arrows of the archaic Hemusets, very obscure female entities that were very popular in early dynastic times but almost absent later. Because in later times, Neith adopted the symbol of arrows, says Almansavalitero. Thus, the arms and the Egyptian red crown are her main attributes. Neith was unique in resisting gender norms and stereotypes. Almansavalitero adds, interestingly, in ancient times violence and power were traditionally associated with men, not women. Neith has many characteristics that make her gender neutral. She looks like a woman, but she is a warrior hunter, a king. She was the father and mother of Ra, and her name can be written with a phallic symbol. Many creation goddesses have warrior, royal, and androgynous characteristics in various cultures. Example, Phrygian Cybele, Mesopotamian Inanna. The ancient Mediterranean ideal of a mother goddess is problematic, especially for Egypt, but Neith certainly fits the model of a powerful and sometimes androgynous creation woman seen in other cultures and not always associated with motherhood. Number 9. Thoth. often depicted as an ibis-headed man, or baboon. Thoth was the god of writing and wisdom, and is said to have invented language and hieroglyphics. He is also credited with having knowledge about magic and keeping secrets that were not known to the other gods. As the guardian of wisdom, he was associated with secrecy and magic, says Alman Savalitero. Several ancient writers, including the later Egyptian historian Manetho, claim that Thoth himself wrote thousands of books containing the wisdom and knowledge of the ancient Egyptians. Often depicted as an ibis-headed man, or baboon, Thoth was the god of writing and wisdom, and is said to have invented language and hieroglyphics. He is also credited with having knowledge about magic and keeping secrets that were not known to the other gods. As the guardian of wisdom, she was associated with secrecy and magic, says Alman Savalitero. Many ancient writers, including the later period Egyptian historian Manetho, claim that Thoth himself wrote thousands of books containing the wisdom and knowledge of the ancient Egyptians. Number 10. Bastet. Bastet, often depicted as a lioness or domesticated cat, was the goddess of the home, fertility, and, interestingly, protective warfare. She embodies the duality of nurturing and fierce defense. In her early days, Bastet took on the form of a lioness, symbolizing her role as a protector. Over time, she adapted to her more familiar feline form, which embodied grace, familial protection, and playfulness. Bastet's sacred city of Bubastis was the center of her worship. The annual festivals celebrated in her honor were some of the most elaborate in Egypt, involving music, dancing, and boat processions. Cats were considered sacred animals and were often kept as pets to receive Bastet's protective blessings. Number 11. Hathor. The versatile goddess Hathor is often depicted as a woman with cow horns or as an entire cow. She was full of love, beauty, music and dance, but she also had a darker side, associated with protection and vengeance when required. As the mistress of the West, Hathor welcomed souls to the afterlife, ensuring they were greeted with comfort. She was also known as the Golden One, often associated with fertility and maternal care. Do you need a deity to oversee your romantic woes or party planning? Hathor was your favorite goddess. Number 12. Sekhmet. If you need a fierce protector in your corner, Sekhmet is the one you're looking for. Known as the goddess of war and healing, Sekhmet had a fiery personality, often depicted as a lioness. Her name means mighty, and legend has it that she could destroy an entire army with her fiery breath. Sekhmet was also a skilled healer, representing the dual nature of destruction and restoration. In some myths, she was sent by Ra to punish humanity, but had to be pacified with red beer to prevent her from destroying the world. Nothing beats a little divine intervention to keep things in balance. Number 13. Ptah. The god of craftsmanship, Ptah was a skilled builder. Often depicted as a mummified man holding a scepter, he was believed to be the creator of the universe. According to legend, Ptah spoke the world into existence, making him a god of profound wisdom and power. He was highly respected in Memphis, where he was worshipped as the patron of craftsmen and architects. Ptah's influence extended beyond the physical world. He was also a protector of truth and justice.